Okay, here's the game. Let's try d4. a6. One of those players. So d4, e4. Maybe he'll play h6 next. Oh no, he goes with the b5. So he can get an early fianchetto with his bishop. If I put the knight on c3, it's a target for the pawn push. But I don't have to do that. In fact, it might be interesting to play f4 in this position, since he's kind of ruled out c4. Let's defend the pawn. Okay, what's next to Mr. Petros? 337. Be logical to follow up with knight to f6. Play knight to d2 to defend the pawn and keep the knight away from that b pawn push, so it's securely defended. Then I will just develop and castle kingside. It's safe to push this f pawn forward, relatively, when black hasn't done anything to open up this diagonal. Because as soon as, say, pushes the e pawn forward, I can just play knight to f3, and I don't know. I suppose I need to take it if he pushes the e pawn forward. So let's think about this. He pushes, I take. Yeah, he just does the normal thing. That also blocks the queen from coming out. So, like I said, I'm just going to defend. E4 I take, queen here. He didn't. I was going back to the earlier position, but we've moved on. So let's just get castled and then play the game. Trying to pin the knight so that he could win a pawn. Got kind of a one-track mind there. Yeah. Castles. So now this is interesting. There is a hole in my position here on D3, E3 rather, where the knight could cop in and fork my queen and my rook. So let's just bring the queen over, defend that, and then kick the knight back. Yeah, let's kick it now. So if I kick it again, he can go to the D5 square, which is an okay square for him. So let's not do that. How do I get my dark squared bishop into the game? see. Well, I could play knight up here to e5 and the other knight to f3, but he'll probably kick it with d6. So knight f3, d6. Do I have a good square for that? Maybe I leave all this alone and start going after this weak structure over here on the queen side. Okay, so that's hitting my f-pawn. Oh, he's got another fork there. Well, he's got kind of a one-track mind, but I guess it's working. So knight g3 is forking, and if I defend it, then he's got knight takes f4. Hard to believe that's any good. But let's not give away a rook. So queen to... Actually, I could play queen e3. Allow the knight into g3 and then just move my rook. And not give away any material. Okay, decided to take that pawn on the other side there. So let's just drop back here. He defended the knight there, so he's not interested in playing knight g3. That's interesting. Well, I like knight to e5 now. Hits the bishop. And if he pushes his d pawn forward, they'll take the bishop. And I've also protected the g3 square. So I wonder about the f5 pawn push. Pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. I can get away with that, it looks like. And bishop is backed up by the rook to leave him with some weak pawns there. So he decided not to worry about the bishop to defend this. I can still play this though, right? f5, pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, knight takes, rook takes. But what's the follow-up? Queen to h6. Don't especially want to take his bishop right now because he'll just take back with the knight and it sort of helps him develop. Although if he does that, I win this rook pawn. Yeah, let's do that. That is material. And I should probably take it if he's giving it to me. Yeah, so let's just drop back. Where's a good square for that bishop? Back to e3, d3, e2, or c4. I guess the knight goes to c4, so bishop back here. Makes sense. Still keeping this idea of knight to, or pawn to f5 around. I can bring this other knight into the game and open up a diagonal for my bishop. I can play b4 to b5 to kick that knight around. But it doesn't have any good squares right now, so I don't mind that knight sitting there not doing much. Okay, so he pushes on with f4, f5. I could take. His bishop is not loose there, is it? Do I mind? I don't mind if he takes, do I? I don't think so. I think I just want to keep my pieces coming forward. Now, queen or bishop? Maybe the queen. My queen is defended. I'm hitting that pawn there. So I could think about a sacrifice here. Knight is there, but yeah, he's got that square covered. So let's go to the e5 square. I was thinking knight to h4 would hit the g6 pawn, and I might sacrifice there to open up the king side. Doesn't look like that's going to happen with his bishop covering it. So knight here, though. If he takes it, I get a strong pawn on e5. And he has to find another square for his bishop. Oh, he wants to go for the endgame, okay. So I have an extra pawn and the bishop pair for the endgame. Should be good. Just want to avoid getting into an opposite squared bishop kind of position. So he's got, well, he could play the bishop to h4, or he could retreat. Yeah, didn't have a lot of choice. So do I want to take the rook off? That's the question. Let's get this move in. I'm just not sure. If it's easier win with the rook on or without it. So anyway, his opening with the a6 and b5 led to a weakness over here, and he didn't bother to defend his pawn, so led to an end game where he was a pawn down. So he kind of was in the cards from the beginning. Played a lot of tricks with his knight, but as long as I didn't fall for any of them, he wasn't able to get anything back. His pawns are not, the remaining pawns are pretty solid. There's no big pawn weaknesses I can attack. Probably I should just take the rooks off and activate my king. That I guess is the simplest way to win this. So which bishop? Yeah, I want to trade the light squared bishop for the knight, so I'll have a dark squared bishop versus a dark squared bishop in the endgame. So if his knight comes out here to F5, I'll probably just take it. If it goes over here, I'll trade rooks and then kick it, kick the knight. Let's see if he moves the bishop. Well, the bishop doesn't have a lot of moves. He doesn't have a lot of pawn moves. Looks like he's just going to let his time run out. Well, we can look at how that game might have ended in the postmortem. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Bye.